Teachers and a bus driver were kidnapped in EKITI while the school bus was conveying the children to EKITI.
Hello guys, this is Expressive Tone TV, conveying your thoughts and feelings to the world, my people. Now, wow, this country, I think we are in a state of anarchy already, because the things that are happening in this country, they are unspeakable things. Not too long ago, two traditional rulers in two separate communities were given RIP by some bandits, or we will call them murderers, because at the end they did not take anything from the traditional rulers that were killed. Their phones were intact, their money were intact, everything with them was intact. They just murdered them in cold blood. As if that was not enough, again yesterday, school children that were going to school in a school bus with their teachers, and the bus driver has just been adopted again. They have been adopted again, and the kidnappers are asking for ransom of 100 million. They are making calls in this country, in this time. Are they saying that they cannot track these people with the numbers that they are using to make call? Are there no apps that can locate the people where the call is coming from? I don't understand what is happening in this country. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do. For all this information, you will always be the first to know when I drop any news. Drop your comments below. What do you have to say about all these things that are happening? What can you say? We are no longer safe in the country. What do you think? Like the video so that other people can also hear. YouTube can help us to share it and know what is happening. Please, watch the videos. Cheers. I'll see you in my next videos. Peace out.
We begin the news headlines in EKITI State, where some students and their teachers have been abducted. 6 school children, 3 teachers, and a bus driver were kidnapped in EKITI while the school bus was conveying the children to EKITI. The gunmen were said to have ambushed the school bus carrying the pupils from a private nursery school back home. Police say efforts are underway to get the children and their teachers rescued.
Kidnapping that occurred around Emure, that same yesterday, where some pupils were kidnapped alongside their teachers and the driver. About 10 of them were kidnapped. 5 pupils, about 3 teachers, 1 driver, and a conductor. So we have deployed our search team, response team, our intelligence team, so that axis. We are assuring the good people of EKITI State that these school children will be brought back alive. They are going to be rescued in no distant time.
The kidnap of the students is coming on the heels of the killing of 2 traditional rulers in EKITI State. It's all gloom as residents of Eshu EKITI and Imojo EKITI are mourning the death of their monarchs. Oba Babatunde Ogunshaki and Oba Olushola Olatunde were killed while returning to their communities after attending a Security Council meeting in Ekpao EKITI. Residents say they are disappointed in the security situation along the border communities in EKITI and claim the monarchs were assassinated. Community leaders are seeking the intervention of the federal government to empower local security outfits to combat insecurity in border towns. The governor of EKITI State, Biodun Oyebanji, has visited the affected communities where he assured them that the perpetrators would be caught.
We're in grief, pain as a way to have lost 2 prominent cabiases in Oye and Ikoyi local government. But the weapons, like I said, the weapons used by the bandits, AK-47s, they saw them with pump actions, and our local security holds den guns. Den guns cannot, combat these criminalities. So therefore, I want to urge the federal government to remember the regional policing and community policing and increase their capacity. We have the manpower, they are fortified, but they needed to also carry equal ammunition so they can be able to combat and suppress this level of criminalities across the borders and forests of Ajoni SCDA.
Well, the community, like I told Mr. Governor, Mr. Cosno have been here on a consolidated visit, and I told him the community believed that the Kabiyesi were assassinated and that they should use all the security granted to help fish out the killers.
His phone is intact. The money that is with him is intact. They didn't go for any of those things. So it's not maybe a kidnapping show. It's just like assassin. But God knows everything. We may not know as human beings, but God sees everything and knows everything. Though everything is dark to us, but God sees everything.
This is an affront on us as a people, and it's sacrilege against the international institution. But I'm grateful and thankful to Mr. President, who was on the phone with me for close to 1 hour yesterday to commiserate with the EKITI people and to also give the appropriate directive to the security agencies to fish out the perpetrator of this dastardly act.
Right, Rufai, unfortunate news coming in from EKITI State. Killings, kidnappings, just speaks to the state of insecurity in the nation currently. Your take on this story?
It's a sad one. Commiserations to the traditional rulers. The Yorubas have a saying, they say, Oba Waja. And it is very sad that on this occasion, our traditional rulers had to be killed in this way and fashion. Very sacrilegious. In fact, it's a desecration of our culture. And we pray for the repose of their souls. But what do we say? Because it has become a pattern in almost every part of the country, the killing of traditional rulers, the wanton destruction of lives. But the president has not been able to give us a cogent solution. And I think for those that are saying 6 months is enough to judge him, we started on a very bad note. What shocks me the most is that while all of this is happening, he's out there in France on a private visit while the people are dying. And that's why you see other people are filling up the slot like Peter Obi going to commiserate, because when you have a commander-in-chief that can't even go and commiserate with the people, and it speaks volumes. And this was the same president that didn't even spare a thought for those that were killed in Kaduna in his New Year Day message. This is the same president that has not been able to nip all of this in the bud. And what shocks me is the fact that this traditional went for a security meeting. Just replica of what happened in Kaduna a couple of years ago, that people went for a security meeting, but when they were coming back, they were so scared to go through the same road they went to because of the fear of their insecurity. And while all of that is happening, the kidnap of children is another sad affront. And the problem is we never bring these perpetrators to book. Till today, those that massacred people in the Catholic Church in Ondo have not been brought to book. And a lot of murders go unpunished. So we keep breeding a society where you have a lot of instability because they know that the perpetrators will not be brought to book. I'm sure the security forces will say, media, please don't report that they're asking for ransom. But is it a lie we're saying that now they're asking for ransom for the 10 people that were kidnapped, these pupils and all of that, 100 million? I just hope they are not going to get killed. And that's why we want, number one, intelligence by the police, 2, proper reconnaissance. 3, being able to track the phone line of these people once they make contact with the families of those people. Because we have the security paraphernalia. I was talking about global positioning satellite system that's been there for over 40 years. It's open source technology. You can use apps like GoFind and the likes to track the location of all these calls. But why are we not seeing solutions? Also, I will want a strengthening of our own state security force like Amotekun. I know how the Attorney General, the Attorney General of the last administration, Malami, said, no, they cannot carry guns. And if you don't want citizens to carry guns, then set up state security and let them have the right to carry guns. Amotekun should be able to carry AK-47. Because I believe if Amotekun is carrying sophisticated weapons, they'll flush these people out. But there's no parity as regards weapons. You're carrying day guns and all of that. And that's why you see a lawmaker is trying to push through a law that citizens should be allowed to carry firearms. I don't support that because it's a return to anarchy. But are we not at anarchy already in the country? Is this not anarchy that no life is safe? And in all of this, anyways, the role of the presidency is to reply. The presidency is replying when Atiku Abubakar is speaking the truth by saying that if the president can't stand the heat, he should get out of the kitchen. Tell me one line what Atiku has said. Is it because these things don't touch these people at the top? All lives matter in Nigeria, but it's as if the life of the poor does not matter. We don't have security guards. We don't have money to pay police. So the solutions are around the things we've always said. And how can we quickly expedite this special investigative squad or whatever they're called, SIS, to be able to go to every part and provide security? And also, this happened, I hear the roads around that area in EKITI are very terrible roads. Very bad roads. So also it goes back to governance. And that's why when I say the domino effect, that everything comes back to crash, it goes back to governance. When people don't do roads and things like that, you have bad potholes everywhere. It's an opening for these people to be able to attack. How can we have effective surveillance, effective security in all of these areas? Please. The president has given a directive. It's incumbent on the security agents to be able to bring out the killers of, one, our KBACs, two, and release those students without paying ransom. Because we don't want yet another Nabena incident. And after at the end, they blame Peter Obi for going to condole with victims. When the president is supposed to be there to do the work and he's not there, nowhere to be found. We are quickly bringing the country of anarchy. And we need to nip this in the bud. A stitch in time saves 9. Please.
All right, so like I mentioned earlier, this is a reflection of the state of insecurity in the country currently, with a number of responses from different arms and different agencies and different groups and different individuals. Yesterday, Tuesday, during the resumption to plenary of the House of Representatives, they held a minute's silence in honor of all those who had lost their lives in the course of very unfortunate circumstances in recent times, including, of course, the 2 girls who were killed in Abuja. And we must continue to mention their names until their perpetrators are brought to book. And more than that, their memory is preserved by a pushback on insecurity and a proper tackling or handling of the situation. Nabiha and Folorunsho. Now, beyond these killings, we now have 2 traditional rulers from EKITI State who were killed. As we saw in that video, the chat with one of the widows of the KBACs, she insinuated that this was beyond what met the eye. So not just a kidnapping situation, but perhaps it could well be an assassination situation. And this is a very heavy statement coming from his widow. Of course, she must be quite distraught, in a state of mourning. But there must be some, gravitas given to the words that she has spoken. And perhaps the police might want to look into that in the course of their investigations. Also, we've had reactions, as the governor of EKITI State had mentioned. He went physically to visit the widow and members who had lost family members. And he had mentioned that the president, in his commiseration message, had also said that they were going to bring these men to book. But the concern is this. Only a few weeks back, the IG of police, Kaide Egbetokun, launched the Special Investigation Squad, SIS. And he had mentioned that this elite squad was meant or being trained specially as special forces to tackle the issue of insecurity, especially violent crimes like armed robbery, banditry, kidnapping. To be fair, they had mentioned that they were going to roll out to 2 states initially, two cities, Abuja as a city, and then the Plateau State. And the reason for this, of course, was as a result of the crimes that have been recorded in these two places in Nigeria in recent times. And he had mentioned that in the course of the few weeks coming, they would roll out the program to other states in the Federation. So it begs the question, despite the successes that they say they have recorded in just a few weeks of being launched, what then happened to the other states? It means that this issue we're talking about is bigger than just it being regional. It's no longer situated in Abuja or Plateau State anymore. It's spreading its tentacles to other parts of the Federation, and you can understand